Reheating of cooked foods well above 50 degrees reduces the risk of food poisoning unless the food has gone bad. Medical experts say foods are particularly prone to contamination if not handled, stored or cooked properly. They are therefore cautioning against eating foods that are cold, since most food poisoning cases involve consuming bacteria-infested food or water. The beginning of this month saw about 55 mourners reportedly being hospitalized in the Volta region after allegedly eating poisoned food at a funeral. There has also been a case of a whole family of 7 perishing after consuming food suspected to be poisoned. Some believe that food poisoning can only occur when chemical is poured into food substance intentionally to cause harm. So we find out from the experts.
Food poisoning is when we eat any food or we drink water that has been contaminated usually with pathogenic organisms. By pathogenic organisms, I mean bacteria, viruses, fungal.
Symptoms of food poisoning, which includes vomiting, diarrhea and stomach cramps, usually begin 1 to 3 days after eating contaminated food. Some toxins can cause food poisoning within a much shorter time. In this case, vomiting is the main symptom. Some people get better without the need for treatment, but in most cases, victims of food poisoning need to be treated at hospital. But what can be done as first aid before rushing to hospital for treatment?
When you're at home and for any reason you feel you've eaten contaminated food, don't be scared. The important thing is the fluid. Fluid replacement is very important, especially for our children, because they can become dehydrated very quickly. ORS is easily available on the market, and now we also have zinc tablets. You need to make sure your children get ORS as often or as much as possible, as often as they pass stools. Once you pass 3 or more stools, that qualifies as diarrhea. If you realize the fluids, the ORS replacement isn't helping, you need to get to a hospital as quickly as possible.
There's the myth of drinking palm oil in cases of suspected poisoning. This, medical experts say, has no scientific backing. They advise people to seek medical help since poisoned food can lead to death in a short period of time. The head of the Regional Hospital Accra, Dr. Ebenezer Odro-Mensah, advises that food be handled properly before eating.
When you're preparing food, you need to make sure the food is clean, especially if it's raw food. So you need to clean raw food. The fruits and the vegetables need to be cleaned, washed thoroughly. We also need to make sure we cook our foods thoroughly at high temperatures. Now, talking about cooked food, when we finish boiling food and for any reason we won't be eating the food for some time, we need to cool it rapidly and refrigerate or store in the fridge. So it's important that when we're refrigerating food, we put them in small amounts. You can take small poly bags or smaller bowls so that you only take out the quantity you need. Even if you've refrigerated the whole bowl, you just try to price out the quantity you need.
Medical experts advise that we eat at hygienically clean places under hygienic conditions. A healthy mind, they say, lives in a healthy body. At Peneavo, GTV News, Accra.